Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And today we are leaving with the very strange exit that we're not used to, but it should work out just fine, and it does. Honestly, considering making that the new standard for the exit, I can't lie, it is a pretty nice spot, although it's still technically suboptimal, which is why I'm not super into it, because even now probably makes my commute take about 30 seconds longer or something like that, you know. So, not too fun, but it is kind of a better spot. It's probably a more consistent spot, but I don't think we're going to change to it, sadly. Sadly, I don't think we will be changing to it. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Now let's see the auto. Final shift once it's in fourth, switch to manual. My battery on the 7 Plus has been having really concerning behavior, so I put the brightness low, and hopefully we don't run into any problems, because that would be very sad, and I would like to have it higher, but it tends to do this thing where it's dropping a lot. It's just spiked down to 28% when it was at 40-something% this morning. And I don't even think the brightness was... Like, it keeps doing these rapid drops. And again, I'm also concerned because the last time it did a drop, it went from 28 and it just dropped to 8. But fortunately, that was when I was done recording. But what I'm saying is we could be in trouble if that happens now, for obvious reasons. So, just being wary of things, just concerned, a little bit concerned, definitely. And, yeah, just mentioning it, putting it out there. Of course, we have usual traffic that we have to deal with. I mean, what else is new? And yeah. What am I going to talk about today? What I was planning on talking about, I guess, was just people's overall ignorance to things, how little people think about others, and also how much I've realized over time that I'm kind of ahead. And it's very frustrating. I'm almost like a lot older than I am. I mean, I guess I could say not only am I a lot older, but in some ways I'm younger. But either way, I am much... I'm stuck. I'm in... My mind has a lot of skill and potential, and I'm stuck. You know, and I wonder why I put myself through this stuff with the iPhone. I could afford it. I can just afford it, but for whatever reason I've been put into this situation that I don't even know. It just causes this issue and problem to be the case, and it's not fun and it's not good. I put these limitations on myself for whatever reason. There's not much logistics. I'm just worried. I guess I'm worried about the future, and I've already done so much spending like that, and I was recently talking about how I'm over doom spending, But doom spending is always so easy to do. It's just so easy. And I'm getting better. I'm improving, but I don't know. I'm just unhappy that Apple had to make this snazzy orange the color. I think if they didn't do that, I would be much more not, like, I would be much more okay with abstaining, but I don't know. And I should probably just skip it. But what can you do? You know, what can you do? It is what it is. Like, but I'm thinking about people's, like, just realizing how far it goes with other people's lack of care or understanding towards others. It's actually really bad. It's really a bad situation. There's just such little understanding or comprehension over other people and the struggles that they go through. And it's just a shame. You know, even I see it all the time in the way people drive. It's very just cutting in front of people, doing a lot of nonsense. And you just wonder what is going on in people's minds. And I don't know, it's so weird. It's so weird because I still feel like people were taught fine. Wasn't like we were educated poorly or anything like that. And yet here we are. And it just, none of it makes any sense. You know, you still have people rushing around. They still never made cars efficient. They opted for speed. What happened? You know, this isn't the reality that I was raised would be. And it would have been the 2000s. The 2000s were the time for things to change or for things to get better. And they just weren't. It just wasn't like that. You know? And even now there's people getting angry. I can tell, like, honking at me. I'm trying to prolong and trying to avoid using the brake pedal, which is how everybody should be driving. And you see the way people drive when it comes to traffic. It's terrible. I mean, people drive the cars just very silly because it's not a race, and you really should never use the brake pedal if you don't have to. And yet, for some reason, everybody does, and everybody still just cuts in front. And it's just such a mess, you know. It's such a mess. And I'm saying this, and there's still so many people that are just driving. It's rude, you know. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to really say about it. I'm not even that upset. Just feel like I'm pretty chill, and I just try to do what I can. I don't know. I try my best to do the right thing, but people just don't. People don't operate like that for some reason. It's, like, really weird. And I bet, like, none of these people even have any idea that that's, like, how you're supposed to drive or how you're not supposed to drive. None of these people are aware of that at all, you know, and they're thinking about rushing home or something like that, and it's all just silliness. That's all it is. It's all just a big bunch of... But I don't know. I mean, what is it? Is it Is it just genetic? Is that all it is? Because it's moments like these where I start to realize the law of attraction has merit to it after all. Because it is, I mean, so much is just like perceptive. So much is just what you make it. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think we should fight for better systems. I think that's when things get a little bit conflated. Because people are not fighting for a better system, and that's part of the problem. But I think it oversimplifies things. I mean, maybe I will call it the law of perception. Maybe that's what I'll call it. Even this guy behind me, like, I'm not understanding why he's honking at me right now. We're in a situation where we're very much stuck, and it doesn't matter if I drive and rush all the way up to the car in front of me, or if I just leave my car be and not use my not burn out my brake lights and not use this is how you're supposed to drive, and nobody drives like this. Everyone's like pushing the gas, pushing the brake, pushing the gas, pushing the brake. Do any of these people understand physics? Are they just not patient enough to get through it? I mean, it's really interesting to me how we get here, and how this guy's like honking his horn at me and like turning his headlights on at me, and none of it is affecting anything at all. He's not getting to where he needs to be any sooner. It's not changing a thing. So what is, I just don't understand how people think or how this is supposed to work. It's all just a ton of nonsense. It's all it is. And I'm really wishing that people would be a little bit more understanding of things, you know? I mean, another part of the problem, too, is just how much they expect everybody to be in a rush. So somebody driving properly like me, it throws everybody off because, it's insane that I have to but that's what happens when you have a social species. You actually get punished and penalized. I wonder what the correct way to pronounce that is. You get punished and penalized for doing the right thing if it's far outside of the median. If the median thing is... Man, I mean, this really, it runs home to my point. Like, I should not be stuck doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm getting something out of it. I guess I'm getting some kind of experience of what it feels like, but I just shouldn't be here. I don't think I should have to be subject to this, but I don't know. Like I said, you have to trust that, or you have to cope with, I don't know about trust, but you have to cope with this being the case. Like, I don't know. How do you get further is basically the whole point. How do you cope with it? But I just know this is not, and the system and the way everything is, how much better things could be. I just need the power to do it. But I don't know how possible it is, It's just a shame. It's a shame, too, because I had a taste of the dream life. I really did. I had a taste of the dream life, and I think that's why it stings. Because now it's gone. It's gone. I had a taste of the dream life, and now it's gone. And that's the most upsetting part about it. It just is. And that shows some of the flaws with the system, is you can't even do what you want to do. You can't even get done what you want to get done because of systemic constraints. I think I've talked about this before. I'm sure that in the past, if you wanted overtime, you could get it a lot easier. I don't think it was always like this. Now it's just terrible. And yeah, I mean, it's just a result of distraction, and at the end of the day, people seem to succumb to whatever corporate carrot is waved in front of their face, and they go for it. We just go for it. I mean, humans cannot resist considering how they should act or how they could be acting. They don't consider it. We just keep going for it. And in that sense, maybe we're all part to blame. Because it's not like when I was a child, I didn't indulge in it. And a lot of my fantasies are things from the golden age. And that shouldn't even necessarily be. Because that was the same blindness. It was the same blindness back then, that just at a different point in the timeline. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was just at a different point in the timeline. The golden age was still blind. It was just maybe a more refined blind. But that didn't make it good. It didn't make it what should. Technically, the golden age didn't even need to be. There's like a whole argument to be made about that. And so it brings us to now, and I guess I don't know. I don't know how much it matters. What I say, what I don't say. It doesn't ever seem to amount to much. And maybe it will someday once I'm older. Maybe people will take me more seriously. But I'm realizing and I'm noticing the more that I talk, the more that I have these force conscious moments on such a regimen, my interactions with AI, the amount of words that I am processing on a regular basis, the more I'm noticing when I read comments in YouTube videos, and just notice and try to pay attention to what people say in conversation, trying to interact with other people, the more that I realize there's no depth. There's something missing. There's something that I know and that I act on that does not appear to be present in others. And it's scary to be aware of that and to see that. It's not a comforting feeling. It's a feeling of worry. It's a feeling of concern. It's a feeling of wonder. But it causes a great deal of frustration. And it explains a lot of what I go through and how it's all shaped up to be where it is now. Why I think the way I think and feel the way I feel. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. It all adds up. Truly. But what's the advice? What is the advice for myself? The takeaway? Is it finding a inner... I guess. I mean, even speaking like this, there's a magic to it. It brings me a good feeling to not be angry, but to be clear. And to articulate things in a reasonable way. Not in ignorance and not in meanness, but just in clarity. I think there's something to that. And I guess that's the whole goal, is to not... it's the law of perception. There's no law of attraction. I'm canceling that law today. It's the law of perception. And life is what you make it. And what would happen if the system was improved? The system is what it deserves to be, I suppose. The system is already in an improved state. We've solved the paramount human issue of boredom, or at least we're dangerously close to outright solving it. But you could easily make the argument that we have. Solved the problem of boredom. So what else is there now? We're kind of at the end of the stage. I think it's representative of nature. If people don't want to have families anymore, then I guess we've made our lives so good that we don't. Because here's the thing, I mean, we talk about the golden age being a better time. And it was. The memories seem better and the joy seems better. We knew what it was like to go to a restaurant, or let's say go to McDonald's, order your food, get it for cheap. What it was like to leisurely be able to drive and go wherever you want. We experienced that. Dirt cheap fast food, dirt cheap restaurants, dirt cheap places to go to, and a dirt cheap car to get fixed. And there was so much freedom, you could do anything. And that's really the paramount symptom of the golden age. Even vacations, air travel. People could go wherever they want or do whatever they wanted. And it was accessible to a very large percentage of the population. This wasn't something that was exclusive to the wealthy. It was very accessible to the middle class to travel, to go on vacations. Now, these things are no longer norms. They're no longer an option. It's astronomical to go out to eat in comparison to the grocery store. It's unaffordable to go on a plane. It's unaffordable to do a road trip. Some people still do it because they're not crunching the numbers, but I honestly would say they're kind of stupid. But then again, ignorance is bliss, right? So who's more stupid? Me or the people still enjoying despite the impending collapse? So that's why I want to dabble in that. I'm trying to dabble in the goodness while I still can. But times are changing, and now we don't have these good moments anymore. Instead of going out to eat ice cream on Friday, we stay home and watch videos on our smartphone. And that's all we do, right? Instead of going to look into a new hobby, go hiking in the woods, go to a water park, pay a fee, go to an amusement park, pay a fee. We just go on the phone. And of course, some people evade this. There's still upper class, wealthy people who think that these amenities are available to all when they're not. Or they won't be fairly soon. And they have no comprehension of what is going on. But things have changed, and we choose what we do. Humans have chose a phone over a real experience. Humans have chose to not go out for ice cream on Friday and instead just stay home because they're too mentally and physically tired, depressed even, because the screen is sucking the soul out of us. But we choose it. It's a choice. The golden age could still be here. But we choose the screen. And it is the ultimate perfection of a conscious living to have a screen that shows you whatever you possibly could want to see. And that will only get more and more the case, probably in a decade. It could literally be the case where anything you could possibly imagine you could do with technology. Coming soon. So we've perfected the human condition, and that's why it doesn't really matter if people are malnourished, or if people can hardly afford, if people are living paycheck to paycheck. There's no reason for a revolt because the system's been perfected. And really by system, I guess I don't mean system. I mean the human condition has been perfected. What more is there to progress? We're going to see it, like I said, in probably about 10 years at most, unless there's some ridiculous economic calamity. But even still, technology will be the single thing to continue to improve. And in 10 years, for a very affordable price, you're probably just going to be able to plug in and ignore reality even more than you already do. And people won't really need to interface with the real world anymore. You're already seeing that to an extent. But it's going to get severe because phones just keep getting better at what they do. And even in 5 years, the phone is going to be in really good shape, especially at lower and lower, more budget options. And so I don't think it's not going to matter. Like, you're going to be able to get a phone that's so good. I mean, imagine the current iPhone 17 Pro Max in 5 years. You could get pre-owned for like a pretty low price. Like, it's not going to cost that much. And so technology just keeps getting so much better and better and better. It's really, you have to think about that. People could be living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know that it's going to matter, because the phones keep us occupied and not really caring about things. You're going to see more older people disappear and more younger people replace them, and it's going to have more of an apathy and more of a preoccupation. You eventually could see people who don't even care or value the golden age that much anymore. You're starting to see it now, people growing up with matured technology. It wasn't like that for my generation. A lot of us still kind of want to do fun things, but I think once you see like 20 years from now, the people in their 20s are not going to be in great condition. It's just going to be spend all their money, and yeah, it's bleak. It's very bleak. You know, but this is what happens. Technology is just going to get so good. It already is. I think I've said this so many times. The 16 Pro Max, I mean, it's so close to being a perfect device in terms of reception, cell reception, in terms of its CPU speed and responsiveness. It's so close to being perfect. And in 5 years, I would only assume that the cell networks are going to be even better. Reception is going to continue to get better. Not only are newer and better antennas going to be in phones, but the cell companies themselves are going to improve, right? And that's really the main bottleneck right now. A lot of CPUs are really fast. You're getting to the point where it's, you know, they're really hitting a limit where for most normal tasks, it's becoming incredibly instantaneous. And I know there's still slight loading screens to do things, but really on my phone, I never really think about it. It's so fast, I don't really notice it. You know, you barely even know. So I can only imagine in just 3 years what it's going to look like. I can only imagine. In just 3 years, let alone 5, let alone 10. Just what things are going to turn into. And it's, again, the most important thing is it's not going to be at a flagship price. It's not going to be at a flagship price. It's going to be at very low prices. That's the thing to bear in mind. Like, this tech is going to be super accessible to lots of people. It's not just going to be relegated to rich people as it is now. And you have to remember, most people aren't even as perceptive to speed and responsiveness as me. So you could make the argument too, it's like for the median or lower person, it might already be there. And like I said, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years, not only is there pretty major antenna improvements, but also the cell towers themselves improving. So we're very close to this point where there's just not, like, everything is going to be so good. There's obviously not a reason for these golden age activities anymore. Because the whole point is, if humans really wanted the golden age, they would just put the phones down and do the golden age things, and that's not what people are doing. So we're obviously getting what we want. As much as we whine and complain and say we have mental health issues, and people are doing what they want. People are getting what they want now more than ever. And it's all because of the phone. It's all because of the phone. And what the phone provides, and the constant nature of it. It's all the phone. I'm feeling so much better with salt. Salt is the miracle drug. It has saved and changed my life. That's all it's done. It saved and changed my life. But that's the whole thing, is it's already... it's hard. I mean, I have such high expectations for myself, but like I said, I just need a little bit more money and I'd be perfectly happy right now. But isn't that what everybody says? But I mean it when I say it. But yeah, okay, so with older people, I think their kind of perception of things is, oh, well, somebody who has higher aspirations, they're going to be hungry and motivated to get it. Well, what happens when that's gone? Like, you're not going to have, like, well, this person has a yacht, and so he makes extra income, but he's motivated to do that because he wants more. That's not even going to be a thing anymore. And I think that's really the brain twister for a lot of these people, because a lot of these capitalistic concepts were only relevant or true during a time period where they were relevant or true. And they're not anymore. They're not, like, you don't work harder and then now you get a bigger house. It's just like you only have a big house if your parents had a house and you get some kind of inheritance. Like, all these ideas are just, and I don't even know if they ever were really real. Like, they could have been lies from the start. Because there's still, but it was more real in the past, but yeah, you can't get a house now. Most people just can't. So what is that going to look like? And yeah, I just think a lot of these people, like, never bother to think about any of this stuff and don't understand just the grossness of how pampered some people are. It's so interesting to think about that and to think about how people don't even realize or notice. Most people don't realize or notice. And is that, as much as it's a curse to me, is that a gift? But we have what we want. We do what we want. So it just doesn't add up. Humans obviously are getting the experience in life that they want to have. And if people wanted things changed, they would put in the effort to change it. I guess people might not know how, but then, well, I don't know, right? What else is there to comment on? But I should be grateful, I suppose, to be alive and to even understand any of this stuff. I mean, it's painful to be in a social species and be given this level of thought. It's been painful, and I've tried to drown it out, honestly, because it was really kicking hard around like 14, 15, 16. And back then when I would talk to people thought it was crazy. So I mean, I could be a lot further, but I admittedly just drowned it out because it was just hard. It's been schla, and now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.